So identify yourself again, who you are, and if you want to do your age, and you talk about your family and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
You're 35?
Pardon?
You're 35 years old?
35?
Yeah.
I was at one time. Going about 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
No, I was born in 1935, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
1935.
Yeah, so,
okay.
So,
And identify yourself again. You don't have to go to
I'm Ray Walters, born and raised here in Arcadia. Went to high school here, and in those days, if you're going into the military. So I found a kind of a special program that the draft board had, where you could volunteer to be drafted, and your volunteer took place on the spot. Okay. So by doing that, someone else didn't have to go, because I went. Three of us went on the same package. That was Dan Sonsala, a close friend of mine, and Adrian Peeler, one of the two Peeler twins.
Oh.
We went together and went in together. We, however, didn't stay together, but we went.
You went in together.
Dan Sonsala wound up, and I wound up in 3rd Armored Division. And Adrian wound up with some outfit that was stationed in Hawaii.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, too bad.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we got to find out what weather's like in Germany, and he, of course, didn't. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to see all the go to the Oktoberfest and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was there, but we didn't get to see it. No.
Because I've driven through that town.
Yeah.
Was it in what's the name?
Heidelberg? Heidelberg, maybe?
Heidelberg, yeah. The big Oktoberfest is not Nuremberg, is it? No. It's Munich.
Munich, okay.
Yeah, Munich, I think it was. We've driven through there. But,
Yeah.
Okay, so we know who you are.
Yeah.
And do you want to say what rank you were, general, or?
Well, I can go back and say I was sworn in on August 3rd of 1955.
Okay.
And from there, from Minneapolis, I went to Camp Chaffee, Arkansas, and we got outfitted there with clothing and stuff like that, and a bunch of tests, aptitude tests and so on. And then I got transferred to Fort Knox, got all of our overseas shots, some of them. The rest of them we got at Fort Knox. And I went to Fort Knox for training, and I joined the 3rd Armored Division there and took my boot camp and AIT training at Fort Knox, and then right away went into my tank training with that, and I had a tank ready there for me. Oh, really? So I drove that. I remember one situation where I got a ticket for speeding
with
my tank on Go Bowling Road by an MP. Kind of upset about it, and my commander was, but I told him what was going on. You know, the speed limit was like 20, and my tank. No, I guess maybe the speed limit was 30, and my tank would only go 26 miles an hour, so I didn't have to pay a fine. I didn't get any setbacks because it worked out pretty good for me.
Okay. I was just going to say, you got a speeding ticket in a tank?
Yeah, in Fort Knox you can.
Well,
you have a tendency with good roads to punch it, you know.
Yeah. You're on the regular roads.
So anyway, I got out of that one, all right.
Okay.
No setbacks,
Okay. So you went to Fort Knox, and then you got your training there. So that the Armored Division, that was, what's his name, the big, the General Patton.
Patton.
That
wasn't quite true. Patton commanded the 3rd Army, which went across southern France and into Italy from D-Day, but part of it was the 3rd Armored Division. That was commanded by a General Rose. He was the only general that was killed by bullets in World War II. Yeah.
Rose, R-O-S-E.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, then our commanding officer was General Porter, Major General. And he commanded all the time I was there. So,
okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a hurry rush-up thing because the Premier of Russia, Khrushchev, was threatening to drive the American Army into the North Sea. So from the day I was sworn in to the day I stepped aboard a ship to go overseas, it was 8 months. So we were in a hurry-up thing, and we weren't anywhere near trained for a battle, but
Oh, wow.
we went.
You
Yeah,
went.
yeah,
And you were trained on the job training, OJT.
yep,
You call it OJT, remember
yep,
that?
yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, so and your family, why don't you just describe your family, just if you would. I know your lovely wife was up here. I remember we dealt with her when we did the trophies in this room
Oh,
many years ago.
No, my family is, my sister is alive yet, Mona, is married to Charlie Carhart from Centerville area.
Oh,
And
okay.
my dad died in 1980, and my mother lived to be 100 years and 7 months and died in 2012 or 2011, I think it was. So she had a good life, yeah.
Yeah, I remember she had that
And-
little home down there by the electrical utility
Yeah,
downtown,
yeah.
by the railroad
Yeah,
tracks.
yeah, they bought that house from a guy by the name of George Costner, and that, prior to him selling it, it had been a sawmill. So the house was built out of different beams and stuff from the sawmill
Oh,
after it
okay.
moved away.
So is that where you grew up down there?
That's right. Well, we first lived on the west side across the river, and we had three different houses over there before the war started, at World War II. And then about 1946, I think it was, my dad bought that little house down there and remodeled it, and we lived in there, and I lived in there till I grew up and went past that. And my mother lived in it until she had to go to a nursing home. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So
we remember.
now it's gone. They tore it down, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
We remember her.
Yeah. so that was home to me, right downtown. You know,
You were right there.
right close to the swamps downstream from Arcadia. So I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in the swamp district,
And there
which
was
is where
one-
Ashley Furniture is today. Occupies it. Yeah,
That was a dump.
yeah. Well, yeah. Part of it was. Yes.
I remember we used to go rat shooting there
Yeah.
on Friday nights
Yeah.
years ago. Oops, probably shouldn't have said
Yeah.
that.
I did a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's probably the main reason that I made expert with the M1 rifle.
Oh.
'Cause I'd done a lot of shooting with a 22 down there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the M1. Oh, okay. Therefore, then your children are you married Rita?
Rita Thomas. I met her not long after I came back from overseas. I thought, that's a nice looking lady. I'm going to try and make contact with her. And I did. And we did. And we got married in in the fall of '61, after I got noticed possibly getting called back into service again. So that worked out well for us. We raised
Called back into
a son,
service?
Rodney, and a daughter, Renee,
Okay.
in that marriage. So, yeah.
Great.
She was my first and only wife. The best
was
in the
your
world.
first and only one, huh?
Yeah.
I know. I talked to Dave Herman.
Right.
He talks like that, something like.
Yeah.
But so, first and only wife. Okay, where was I going with this thought? So the downtown, yeah. So then you were up here. Is this where your home then after you're married? This is your marriage home.
Yes, it was kind of lucked out. My father-in-law, Rita's dad, had bought this corner on 93, 95 to use it for his trucking business. And then at some point, not long after, a couple of years, he bought a gas station on the west side of the river and moved his trucking over there, so he offered it to me. So I bought, part of the corner. And then some years later, the rest of it came available from Willard also, so I bought the rest of it. So I have kind of an L-shaped corner here.
Oh, okay.
Two different lots put together.
So which was Willard's station down on the west side? Is that where the Sensala station is, or what the?
Yeah, it's where the Shell station is. Well, it was the Shell
the
station,
Shell
and that's
station.
where the.
That was downtown then.
Yeah, belongs to a company out of Chippewa Falls, runs it now.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what the name of it is right now. Something.
Oh.
Anyway, it's a C-store type thing.
Next to Boucher's there? Or?
Yeah. Next to the Dodge Plymouth there.
Yeah. Well,
So in the meantime, then when I got this in 1960, it was just a house, and never forget there was one light in each room, and bathroom. There was no bathroom, and they had a two-holer outside toilet, and a pitcher pump on the well. It wasn't connected to, you just pump it up.
Yeah.
So anyway, then we worked, myself and Rita and my dad and quite a few of my friends helped me tearing out plaster and insulating and put some new windows in and took out 13 doors out of it. And then 1961, in the early summer, we moved into the house. It wasn't done yet, but we moved in.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it's been here ever since.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is where your business was, so we can move right into your business. What was your business and how did you get started?
Well, I already had a job with my dad in the electrical business, and that expanded. And then when he got sick and he had a heart attack and he had heart surgery and he couldn't conduct the business anymore. So then I went for a while with him, and then I went on my own in 1970 and retired in 2003. And we called ourselves R&R Electric for Rita and Ray.
Yeah.
And then sometime after that, we got into the trophy and awards business to keep Rita and a bookkeeper busy. Okay. That worked out well. And we sold that out in, I don't remember the exact year, but about 2010 maybe, something like that.
Okay.
And so...
let's get back to some of your military experiences.
Yeah.
What unit did you belong to, and can you elaborate on that?
Okay, yeah. I was in the 3rd Armored Division, and part of the 3rd Armored Division is called Combat Command B, which is similar to an Army regiment. There was four battalions on the post we were at, named Ray Barracks. Not for me, but some guy that won a Medal of Honor in World War II was named after. But prior to that, it had been one of Hitler's training posts.
Oh, really?
So it was good buildings and not untouched by the war. So we had nice place over there. The only thing was with our training, the only time we were in that building was during the growing season, which would be about 5 months out of the year. The rest of the year we were in the field living.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the name of the community where you were near in Germany?
Well, the community was right out of our front gate called Friedberg. And that was about 30 clicks north of Frankfurt.
Oh.
So,
yeah. Down in the southwest part of Germany.
No, actually about halfway.
Right,
halfway north and south,
part,
And the town next door, closest town, a little bit bigger, a resort town by the name of Bad Nauheim. I found out just recently that General Patton had a house that he lived in Bad Nauheim. That's where he left to go on a trip towards southern Germany and get killed in a car wreck.
Oh, so he was killed in a car wreck?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
So, I didn't either until recently. I read it in the book. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. How about that?
So,
let's see here. And what kind of did you do all day while you were working with your tank retriever, or what would you? You weren't just kind of.
We had a kind of a mix labor. When we were in the field, then it pretty much 100% operate with the tank retriever to bring the tanks back that got themselves stuck or lost a track or lost an engine or something like that. When we were in post at Friedberg, there we went through in-house training and did mechanical work on the tanks and sometimes on trucks. And when we were in the field, I guess you would call it a tank commander, but I only had two guys under me, so from bottom to top wasn't very far.
Yeah. So you were rank of what, Spec 5 or a staff sergeant or what? Or?
No. Well, we're only going to be over there. It turns out 15 months, but we're all out of the same group that worked on maintenance, and except that I had inherited that tank retriever.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that because that we were pretty much free to go on our own. We lived on sea rations, and sometimes we find a bivouac area and we could grab a meal from somebody there.
Oh.
So we lived. They'd get us contact by radio most of the time, tell us where to go, what tank was broke down, or what outfit it was. The odd thing about it was they never left a tank with the crew. They always pulled the crew out, so all we found was empty tanks that were either broke down or stuck.
Oh.
And that area of Germany had all been glaciated. It's pretty much like northern Wisconsin, where there's little potholes that seem bottomless, and then high ground around it, and rolling country, not mountains.
Okay.
But it's nice to get around with.
Is it kind of like Arcadia?
Well, Arcadia wasn't glaciated, but not too far from Arcadia.
Yeah, that's true.
In the glaciated area.
Yeah.
It was, very much so. Yeah,
So
not bluffs until we got to the east border of Germany up against Czechoslovakia. There were mountains, like you might find in New York State.
Well, like,
4,000 or 5,000 feet high. No big ones.
Okay.
So, yeah, it became critical because we trained usually from Friedberg area east to the Czechoslovakian border, and sometimes right at the border we put in time. Yeah.
Did you, while you were there, did you travel to other countries at times on R&R?
No, up to them, up to the borders, and we did go across. Well, a place called Wildflecken was in the mountains, and the valley just to the east of us was pretty wide. Maybe it was a mile or more wide at the bottom, and the middle of that was split with border fencing and under the command of the Russians, and there was a fence on both sides. So we commanded one side, and the middle was a no man's land, and the east side was commanded by the Russians. And it was kind of interesting because almost every night you hear shooting down there. The guards on either side spotted something they didn't like, and they'd open up on it and shoot up. And so there's always activity there. Yeah. But I just kind of looked down on it with my tank at night and saw I knew where each side was located.
So you
could hear some shooting. Yeah.
So you never got into like...
No, I didn't cross the fence.
Because that was communist.
Yeah. It was a situation where no tanks were allowed down there. But up to it. But you didn't dare drive in because there was no man's land. You drove a tank and you're going to get shot at.
Oh,
no question about that. So we just had to stay away from it. But a lot of times there was tanks stuck in the snow or in mud.
Yeah.
And I have to go get them out and stuff. But they were all at least some distance, a mile or more away from the border.
Wow. Okay.
It was kind of ticklish. It was you had to know right where you're at. Because as soon as you got away from that camp, there really wasn't any marking to tell you if you crossed over the line or not.
Yeah. So you had to know where you are by a map,
right?
Or something like that.
Somebody will find you if you get too far.
There'll be some bullets flying or something like that. So you've got some good stories. I remember something about that. There's a picture of you pulling a tank out of the mud here.
Yeah, those are mostly what happened. Being glaciated, I suppose at the same time that northern United States was, it left a lot of little potholes. And the potholes were covered with willows and other trees and grass. And so it looked safe to drive a tank in. And a lot of these guys, when they're maneuvering around for a position, they'd drive into the grass and being not used to potholes, when they felt their tank starting to sink in, they usually give her, and then they'd really get stuck. Oh. And that picture there of the tank that I pulled, that was the worst one I ever had. You could just see the top of it through the grass. Everything else was buried. The toughest one I ever had. We tried, and we got stuck ourselves getting it out, but we made it all right. We eventually got it.
So you got stuck yourself. So then what do you do if you stuck yourself?
Yeah.
You got to get.
Well, that's where we wish the crew was there, because I'd like to have knocked the driver out of that tank and the nose to tell him don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was tough, and we were at it for a long time. And my tank had kind of broke through, so we wound up cutting a pine tree down. Like a red pine here, And so it extended beyond our tracks, and we chained it to the tracks so I could drive over the top of that tree without sinking till it came out the front. Then you had to hook it and move, drag it around, and move it to the other end. And so we eventually got out of there. All right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's nobody to call for help because we were it.
I was going to ask, there wasn't anybody to pull you out.
No, never had that happen. No.
So
We were totally on our own. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had
Yeah.
to.
It was. I enjoyed that part of it. It was hard work, but we enjoyed ourselves doing it because of the independence we had. We went only a couple of times we got harassed by a lieutenant. Wanted his tank to come first, and
I was just going to say a lieutenant.
yeah, second lieutenant. They're the ones that give you trouble.
I was just going to say it's the second lieutenant.
Yeah.
I've got.
I know I dunked one pretty good in the river. I knew I could make it through, but in the middle of it was kind of a little bit deeper, and so I just gave her just a little bit, and my tank hooked the water, and it came right over just as I clamped my trap door shut. And I heard a lot of noise coming out of the lieutenant trying to catch his breath with that super cold water coming. It was like in the middle of winter, you know. But he never said anything. He'd give me a really tough time prior to that because we were bedded down for the night. So
you could take your tank and go in the river.
Pardon?
You could go in the water.
Yeah, no, only if I knew where the bottom was.
Oh, okay.
In that particular case, it was above the bogey wheels, but there was one little hole in the middle of it, I suppose 20, 30 feet, and if I slowed her down and go slow through it, it would come up to where my periscope was, but not go over. Oh. But if you give her just a little bit, it would wash up over, so if I didn't have the hatch shut, you'd get wet.
Oh.
And that lieutenant, I didn't tell him the whole, I didn't think I owed it to him. So he took a pretty good dousing, and it was really cold. It was winter.
In other words,
just about freezing.
In other words, he kind of grew up a little bit there. Huh?
I suspect so.
Yeah.
I suspect so.
It's amazing how situations kind of do that.
I became well known because of things like that.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the word gets around when you take a dunk an officer, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, that's for sure. Yeah. That sounds good. Were there any other situations of? It was a Cold War.
It was the Cold War period, right?
And you were there, so it's 1955 till when?
57, 56 and 70. 55, 56, and 57. I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, parts of those 3 years.
So you were there,
Yeah.
and so you didn't go skiing or anything like that over there, huh?
Pardon?
You didn't go skiing in the mountains or anything like that.
No.
You didn't go to the Alps or.
No.
You didn't
my commanding officer he knew what kind of job we had, and he told me, he says, I'm going to give you a pass. You can put it in your pocket, and anytime you're not working, you're free to go.
Oh.
So if I got done at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I was free to go to town. Not we always did it, but I could.
Yeah.
But he also said, you'll get no leave while we're in Germany. You won't have time.
Oh,
so
that's
there was a particular situation where there was also in the wintertime, we'd been several days getting tanks fixed and get them out from being stuck. And we pulled into a bivouac area, and there was a tent set up for a mess tent. And the sergeant was just coming out of the tent, and I hollered at him if he could give us something to eat, and he was kind of sarcastic, and he said, "No, you don't get any, we don't have it on our food list." I'm never on a food list. We just usually get it.
Oh.
And he said, "No, you won't get it here." So he kept on walking, and when he got into his live-in tent, I guess a platoon tent, I told one of my crew guys, I said, "Go over and open that tent flap and see what we can find to eat." And we found a gallon of milk and some cold mashed potatoes and a loaf of white bread. So we smeared the potatoes on the white bread, and we washed it down with milk.
Okay.
And I was pretty upset about it because we didn't have anything else to eat at the time. There had no sea rations with us. So when I got back to my home area, I went and talked to the commanding officer of our battery and told what had happened and where it happened and who was responsible for that. He says, "I will take care of this." And from then on, any time my tank receiver got near a bivouac area, the cooks would be out waving in, come on, we'll give you something to eat. Even if it wasn't mealtime, we got fed.
Oh.
So I don't know how it went to division, but it went up probably all the way to the top, and to come back down, we were well taken care of after that point.
Yeah. You didn't monkey.
Yeah.
Monkey around there. Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, it really was. I really appreciated that.
Yeah. So, did you pull a lot of night duty as well? I mean,
While we're on duty, whatever it was, night day, we had to work straight through until we got whatever the problem was fixed.
Okay.
Yeah. The rest of the guys, depending on what their job was, it was more normal.
Yeah.
But the tanks and the firing, I was attached to artillery, 105 howitzers, and if they had night firing missions or whatever kind, they did it. We all did.
Yeah. 24/7. Well,
So but in my case, if there wasn't any breakdowns or anything, then we worked on maintenance on other tanks that were in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in Vietnam, we were on duty 24/7.
That's basically what we were too. Yeah.
And but the thing is, there were times when I was lucky being an officer.
Right.
That I had control of some of my activities and whatnot.
Keep in mind, I wasn't an officer.
Yeah. I was lucky just because I was a veterinarian.
Yeah.
I went in as a captain and I came out as a captain, and I felt like I was a PFC.
All right.
PFC,
Yeah.
We're good people. The sergeants ran the army.
Yeah.
So you got any other good stories of? Did you ever meet Arlie or Dan? It says Dan Sonsala or Dan Sosala.
Yeah. Sonsala.
Oh, Sonsala.
He was born and raised right up the road here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you ever?
His dad was Ernie Sonsala. Yeah.
Oh.
He ran the East Arcadia feed mill.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was before Arnie. What's his name? Arnie.
Yeah.
Sonsala. East Arcadia feed mill. Was it Arnie?
Arnie Petit, not Petiter.
It was Arnold.
Yeah, name, I won't go up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a German name.
So Sonsala owned it before he did.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Gotcha, because I had I had some of their kids in Boy Scouts.
Yep.
So but well, anyway, so gotten through all this sort of stuff. So did you. Okay, so the time that you were overseas, how did you get overseas? You were trained.
Oh, well, and later on, people flew, but we went in a troop ship, two-stacker. There was thousands of people on it. Yeah. And but it wasn't so big that we could outrun a hurricane. We spent some time in the tail end of a hurricane leaving New York Harbor. It was pretty bad. When we got to Germany a week and a half later, there was a lot of people taking off, GIs, stretchers. They're going to hospital because they were so dehydrated. We didn't lose any, but there were some awful sick people there. I was lucky. I did not get seasickness on either trip, either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But neither one was pretty.
Well, going over there, of course, you're looking at a different kind of duty, and coming back, I'm coming home,
Yeah.
But I went on a troop ship myself, 21 days. How many days did you go on your troop?
Well, I don't remember for sure, but I think the average time was like about just under 2 weeks. And I think it was close to 21 days on going over the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was because that getting the tail end of that hurricane. They had a ship's log that was printed each day, mimeographed, and there was 2 nights to 3 nights. Total gain was about 25 miles. The ship was just maneuvering to keep upright.
Oh.
Yeah, and we lost a bunch of railing off the bow of the ship, and at least one big life rack was gone.
Really?
Thrown off. So, yeah, it was pretty wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know we had some as well after we came out of from Oakland, we traveled on our boat outside of Oakland, and we had 30-foot, these kind of things, you know.
Yeah.
But I could see the water splashing over the front, and you got to hang onto the side to get to the to where you're going to eat and all that sort of thing. But I don't want to get into my experience because
Yeah.
But
one thing I remember when it was kind of outstanding when we got off the ship in Bremerhaven in kind of a joined our sea, to the northwest.
Yeah.
And we got out of the ship and walked down the gangplank and right onto a troop train. And the box cars were like the 40 and 8 cars. It had a single wheel on each end of the car.
Yeah.
And anyway, the back of the train, they had a mess kitchen set up. And we went from the ship, it was the evening we got on, and in the morning, they had a kitchen set up, and you go car after car, you walk through each car to get back there. And they had these dehydrated eggs. And by the time we got back there, it was just about cleaned out, and the little hunks of eggs were floating around on top of that water. It reminded you that maybe something went through the body. It was pretty bad. So and we got I think an evening meal. We didn't stay overnight then. We got to where we needed to go, but the mess wasn't much. So get used to it.
So there wasn't. So getting used to Army chow, huh?
Pardon?
Getting used to Army chow.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. All life has changed. Yeah.
Yeah. So you walk from. There wasn't a passenger train. The train that you were on, it wasn't a passenger train. It was a bunch of boxcars.
Just a bunch of boxcars. That's right.
You just kind of walk. You could walk through them.
Yeah, but there was no like on a passenger train here. There's a walkway that you could step on, and the cars can move around, but you could step in. They're hooked up like a not like Americans have with a hook that hooks onto each other, but with a linchpin. I'm trying to think of the name. So that's the only thing that moved. So there was no walkway. You had to step from the one boxcar to the next boxcar.
Yeah, that's kind of tricky. So do they have seats in there? What kind of seats did they have in the train for you? They had.
I think they had seats mostly. We didn't have to stand there. There was the seats that we could use.
So you weren't packed in like cabin.
Yeah. Right. Later on, when we and after the crop season, we took trains over to the Iron Curtain. And there we could have little compartments that 6 guys could get in there.
Oh, okay.
With a walkway down on one side of the train, you know.
So did you go to any other part of Germany besides near the Heidelberg area, or what do we call it?
Well, we were near Frankfurt, but no. We had one opportunity, and I took advantage of it on a weekend bus trip to Paris.
Oh.
So a bunch of us got on that, and we went, and that was pretty neat.
Oh, you got any stories about being in Paris?
Yeah. I could tell some stories, but not on the camera.
Oh, not on camera.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. But it's hurry, you know. But we had a good time. Yeah.
So you got to see the Eiffel Tower and all that good stuff.
And the Arc de Triomphe and the Paris, you know, where all the nightclubs are at. We got into some of those.
And
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a famous nightclub over there. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Oh, the Foley's.
And we were in that. Foley's, that's it. Foley's. That was pretty neat. They had really neat shows there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to see the Seine, the river Seine.
Yep.
And the Notre Dame, you got to see.
That's how it's pronounced, Seine?
Notre Dame.
I guess I call it Seine, but Seine is right.
Seine, yeah.
Okay.
Depending
All right.
on which part of France you're from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's great. So you can't tell those stories.
So that's the only. Otherwise, once we got, especially in the summertime, we had more time. You could hop on a train. And it was already 30 clicks to Frankfurt, so we got there and looked around the downtown area there.
Yeah.
And I guess that's about the only place I went.
Okay. My ancestors are from down in that area.
Really?
The Fetches are from Heiserstadt or some. Al Kugi talks about that. That's where he was. but we'll get going here. So you got to see a little bit of the country then. Yeah. So do you have any, when you came back home from the military then, you had some hobbies. Besides work, you worked as an electrician.
Oh, as a civilian again? Yeah, I enjoyed many years of duck hunting, and deer hunting locally. Yeah, when I got married, the group of us started going out to the mountains in Wyoming, and we go big game hunting every year for 40 some years.
Wow.
My last trip was in '03, so that's pretty recently. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So you went elk hunting and all that stuff?
Elk and deer and pronghorns,
Goat, mountain goat?
No. When I was up close to them quite a few times, but later on, after the hunting group broke up, the wife and I would drive out, and that was in December, and we had the mountains to ourselves, so we saw all kinds of big game, all except bears. Once in a while we'd run on the beer trucks, but we never had face-to-face with bears, but we're close different times.
Oh, you're close.
Yeah.
I hear you. I mean the grid.
For many years I hunted in late October and into November, so there were still bears cruising around. That area we hunted a good abundance of grizzly bears.
Yeah.
They far outnumbered black bears. Yeah.
That's a beautiful part of the country. Isn't it? I know it.
Yeah.
I saw a grizzly bear, but it was I'd say about 70 yards maybe away from me. You're just kind of foraging this type of thing. But okay, let's see. So, your hunting and fishing is some of your favorite hobbies.
That's right. Yeah.
I've been told that you know where every stump is and every rock and every hiding place for the fish are in the Mississippi River.
I'm pretty well in this area anyway. From, I guess I could say from Prairie du Chien up to St. Croix Falls. I'm pretty well acquainted with all of it. Yeah.
Really?
Over here, if you fish long enough, and take chances on going some other place, you learn.
Yeah. So you get an idea. So you know where the fish are, right?
Well, I hope.
They're in the water.
I've done pretty well.
They're in the water, right?
Yeah, it's the first place to look.
Yeah.
There's some other buildings that hold fish, but there's bottle fish,
Oh yeah, the bottle fish. Yeah, we don't need those. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So you've been involved in this community for many years. So you got any stories about that? I mean, I remember you being involved in building various building structures, like for the hospital and all this sort of thing. I remember you were...
Through my work,
we
got my name involved in a lot of buildings in the area.
Yeah,
from high schools to grade schools to hospitals to motels to... He did work in a lot of them in the whole area.
And your house, maybe?
Yeah. The factories, there was every factory in Galesville, I did work on at one time or another. Some when they come out of the ground and some later on, after they're built.
I think I've got a comfort maker. Comfort maker?
Furnaces and air conditioners,
You sold those? I think you put one in our house.
Yeah, I did.
And it's still working.
And there you go.
It's still working. That's really great.
Yeah.
Well, you have any other comments you want to, have we kind of gone through the life of Mr. Ray Walters pretty good here, or do you got some other comments that you want to
well, now you got me jammed up, so I don't really, there's a lot of things we could talk about, but none come to mind at the moment.
That bullet from, there's a bullet behind you there. And what kind of a gun is that from? That bullet there.
Oh, that's just a drinking thing.
Oh, no. Oh, really? Oh, that's kind of clever.
Yeah, I do have a knife here that's got quite a thing in it. Let's see.
Well, that knife over there is...
This was invented by Englishmen prior to World War II. there was both British and American Marines in China. And at that time, Chinese had a lot of pirates, and they didn't like Americans. So whenever they got a chance, they'd try to kill them.
Oh.
And this Fairbairn, I think, is the guy's name that invented this. The GIs would stick it up the sleeve of their fatigues, so only the hilt was out.
Okay.
And when they got tangled up with some Chinese trying to kill them to rob them, they could whip this out, and this stayed on the shirt sleeve, and this became a dagger too.
Yeah.
And I know there were situations where guys got killed because of it.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't know where I got it from. I think it was in a package of stuff that I bought at an auction. But it does have 3 notches cut in the hilt of it. It would indicate that at least 3 people met their maker because of it.
Yeah,
but it's very famous. Not now anymore, but very famous to the Marines prior to World War II. Because we had a large contingent of Marines stationed in China at that time. So, yeah, that's a lot of memories with that. With whoever had it, not me.
Yeah.
And I want to point out that off in the left-hand corner, when my son turned 18, he wanted to get a college education. I said, one other thing we discussed that if he would go in the military, you'd get your education paid for. But I said, don't go in the Army. That's where I was. And it turns out the Army was the only one that would offer him the education that he wanted. So that's where he went.
Oh, okay.
And he did very well in the Army. I don't think he enjoyed me talking about it, other than the fact that he did really well.
Yeah. Well, you told me about some of this.
Yeah.
I guess that's not...
Other than that, this one here, I want to... that's an achievement award. There was one per battalion at the base we were at Ray Barracks, and one for Army infantry, one for Army artillery, one for Army tanks, and ordnance. And there was they put up a bench, and we had the whole battalion, the whole camp move marched by us. And I sat next to and stood next to generals on that. And it turns out, I suppose at the showing, that my best friend, Dan Sala, at the time also won Achievement Award he was in armored infantry, a tank driver. Oh. And so 2 of us from little old Arcadia went to all the thousands of people that were there, came home with that Achievement Award. I was pretty proud of that, yeah. And so was he, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big thing. And this other one here has nothing to do with the military, but they had 2 different times they had a opening day fishing for the walleyes, and it's called the Governor's Opener. And the year I was asked to hunt, I was told that I would be guiding Governor Thompson. Oh. And as it turned out, it didn't happen. He brought his own guide with him, and I got shoved off to Bobby Gronimus, she's a congressman from here.
Sure.
And so we fished together, and we won it.
Oh, you won it?
Yeah, more than anybody else. Huh? Yeah. So I got a picture of her and a picture of Bobby Thompson, and the clearance badge that we all wore to get in. So that's pretty high on my priority list over the years.
So that's you next to Bobby there, huh? That's you right standing next to her there?
Yeah, that's me over on the right, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
My boat in behind, and five really nice walleyes between us.
Yeah.
And she had a bet with both Bobby Thompson and Rodney Bowen from Whitehall.
Yeah.
And I was kind of disappointed with him, so I went up to shake his hands just because he's a congressman. And he walked away from me.
No.
Yeah, because I guess he didn't like not getting anything. But Grabby Gronimus was very vocal about meeting him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know Rodney Moen. He's in our Sons of Norway group.
Oh, is that right?
I know.
Okay.
I could bring up, how about that fishing?
Yeah.
Well, do you have any closing arguments?
No arguments. No. I guess I could just.
That's you sticking your head up out of the tank up there.
Yeah.
Up there.
The big one that was started and done by Ashley Furniture. They took quite a few veterans, and whoever volunteered for it, they took in and made that. I happened to have taken quite a few pictures in Germany, and I had learned how to develop them, make prints out of them. Oh. So they made that up for me, and after they were done using it, they gave it to me. So that's why it's here.
I know I had something
Yeah,
like
that practice is done now. Now they have well-known local photographers taking prints of whatever, buildings or wildlife or whatever. It's pretty neat.
yeah.
Yeah. And my picture with my battalion there is at the bottom, but the sunlight has ruined the color. I know where it is on there, but you can't decipher who is on where. You know.
You're one of those.
Yeah.
One of those guys.
And this one up here was an award from the military for serving in the Cold War. Special recognition for that. Mostly because they didn't get into trouble when I was over there.
So did you get any awards or medals of sorts?
Well, no, they weren't good on. That's a pretty big reward there.
Yeah.
So it's one out of close to 1,000 men. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't get a commendation medal or a Bronze Star or anything like that?
No, just that little one in the corner up there. That's a good conduct.
You were good conduct.
Yeah.
You were a good guy, huh?
Well, they don't say best conduct. They say good conduct.
Just good conduct.
Yeah, that's about it. The rest of them are from various things. From Ducks Unlimited, I was active there for 40-some years. So I earned that. And this one was from the Cold War.
Okay. And you're...
and the rest of these over here are all awards for winning fishing walleye tournaments. Yeah.
There's the picture with Bobby Gronimus and Ray Walters there. Okay, and then there's some other fellas there. So you're an NRA member, huh?
Life member, yeah.
Life member?
Yeah.
They let you in, huh? They let you in?
Pardon?
They let you in?
Yeah. At that time they did. Yeah, I'm in good standing with them, yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, I think we have covered just about everything. Unless you got some other comment.
No, not really. I'm pretty well used up.
You're pretty well used up. But you're such a sharp fella for for 35 years.
Yeah.
And well, that's why I brought you a piece of peach pie.
Oh, okay.
So that's for you, you know. So enjoy the peach pie.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service.
You're welcome. Thank you for yours.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's about time somebody, you know, when I came back, they weren't thinking of me.
I did make the Veterans Honor Flight in the 4th of May of this year.
Oh,
that's a pretty big deal. Yeah.
So you thought that was really worthwhile?
Yeah, I tell you, I had a lump in my throat most of the day out in Washington, D.C. Yeah.
When I saw the Vietnam Memorial, where you walked down into it, you know, I saw all those names on that black wall.
I had a couple of names with me that was taken off of our little memorial here in the park, and I found them right away. There's a little directory there that tells you what section it's in. I found them now. I don't remember their names now anymore. I didn't know the people anyway, but
I'd seen it with the Boy Scouts. We went out to a trip with the Boy Scouts a number of years ago, and we saw that. But in closing there, I should identify myself as Todd Fetsch, you know, Dr. Todd
Captain.
Fetsch. Oh, Capitan. Yeah, Capitan. Yeah. So we got to salute each other, huh? Yeah.
And to you.
All right, individual here. You want to show us your stove and the periscope?
Yeah. Yeah. You want me in it there?
Yeah.
They cook a lot of. Am I on now?
Yeah, you're on.
I cooked me a lot of meals in my tank in Germany, especially in the wintertime when you needed heat.
Oh, you use it for heat?
Well, when you're cooking inside, you get warm.
I see.
Yeah. And then these here, I set my cup. It's up in the corner there. Made a lot of meals in this. Kind of important.
Yeah.
We dump our sea rations in that and a little water if needed.
Yeah.
And let's see.
So what was your most favorite sea ration?
Spam.
Spam?
Spam, yeah.
Oh, it's spam because it was ham, basically.
Yeah, well, then you had
Beans and
like
wieners.
I call it goulash, but
Yeah.
bacon, not bacon, but hamburger and macaroni was always pretty
okay.
good. Yeah, I'd like to put this on here.
I remember the
It'd take a little time to get to it. No, maybe we put something else on there first.
Okay,
but
just a second.
but dump it in here and hold it on there
I
till
want you to
we
show-
got done cooking. Yeah,
Put that on the stove again.
there.
All right, look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now take it all apart and put it back together again.
Okay.
to show us
Okay.
what
Let
it
me go here.
Because that looks like one of my camp stoves.
Yeah, it is kind of. Let's see.
Did you use regular gas on this thing?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, what do you call it,
White-
non-leaded, but
Yeah.
we use regular tank gas in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So that
no,
was
I gotta
what-
get,
That's what was available, right?
yeah, that was very available.
Yeah.
Jerry cans,
Okay, yeah. Oh, good old jerry can.
yeah.
I remember them.
No, I can't get my fingers on it right.
Huh.
Oh, here's
There it goes.
that, there. You gotta lift that up. There's a ring, and then you fold the bottom ones in,
Yeah, that looked just like my Coleman
and you drop it into the,
Coleman stove for when I camped
and then you put the lid on.
in the boundary water.
There's a little dimple there that
On the other
you get on, and then
There
lock
you
it, and no matter what happens with it,
Ta-da-da-da.
it's ready for the next use. You pour some gas
And
in.
then there's your cup where your canteen went in, right?
Yeah,
That's it
right.
right there.
Yeah. My canteen, my son got away with somewhere.
I think you can get one.
He got rid of most of my stuff by using it.
Yeah.
Then I was really tickled that he gave it to me, and I drove a lot of miles across the fields with looking through the periscope, because the engine air was drawn through the inside the tank, and when you stand in the hatch, it's so cold you can't hardly stand it,
Ooh.
So then I'd flop the hatch shut and drive with the periscope.
Okay.
That was the main use for it.
So you could see.
You could do that if it was more
We'll get
open
a lot
fields.
Closer here. Look.
Huh?
Okay, so there's the
Yeah.
periscope.
Yeah.
It's not like it acts like a periscope on a submarine, right? But
Same thing, except
Yeah.
it's not connected, it's not directly connected.
you bet.
It's long ways apart because the pole on the submarine is long. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, it's fun to look through it. I used to have kind of a little abrasion across my forehead from looking at my chest
Because that's how you,
right against it like that,
That's how you
as the tank
usually-
is rocking and twisting and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've got.
But I can remember clearly how cold it got. The air would come across your chin and down your throat, because your shoulders blocked the rest of the hatch. So it was really super cold. Yeah.
Did you wear some kind of a muffler or something like that, or?
We didn't have one.
No,
Yeah,
I mean
we
your
didn't have any. Yeah.